I think we're going. It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Again, another day where we are getting ready for the biggest game of the year. That's what happens when the stakes are this big and there's only, 4 teams left in the College World Series. We're having a good old time here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in or watching, however you consume this show on the CW, on YouTube, on TexAgs.com, or on the Zone 1150. We are here for that big game, though. Texas A&M taking on Oklahoma, another chance to get at them. Oklahoma has not played in a while, and A&M, red hot. They're so hot right now, they have outscored their opposition 15-1 in their last 15 innings. I think that's pretty good. That's a run per inning and only giving up one, and we saw that one with Brad Rudis late yesterday. Schloss 2 steps ahead of everyone. I don't know if, other than Billy, if anybody really saw the Nathan Detmer start. It made sense when Billy explained it on the air yesterday. It's like, yeah, I get it. It makes total sense at this point. But that's exactly what Schloss did yesterday. It's going to get a lot of the attention because it was a magical performance. But the story behind it, I should say the redemption story behind it, is going to last forever. And hopefully he'll get another chance to pitch once again. But they got to take care of business against Oklahoma, not once, but twice. But today it all begins at 1 o'clock. Let's go straight to the BCSI hotline. Olin Buchanan has been reporting for us from Omaha. Good morning, OB. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad I'm not, on my way home.
Right? So I had a lot of fun in New York City and that run with the basketball team, right? And I'm not trying to compare the situations. But what the Aggie baseball team is doing right now is just on a different level of excitement for the fan base, for us covering it, and just in sports in general. They are a hot topic all around the country right now. When college baseball sometimes isn't discussed, it's being discussed.
Yeah, everybody loves an underdog. And again, this is the team that was picked 13th out of 14 in the SEC. And then wins its division, and has just been all year overcoming odds and obstacles. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Was that Dalton's back or something?
It was Sam.
But and they've done it in a variety of ways. People like offense, and they've done it with offense and the long ball and then in certain games, like the entire Louisville series and yesterday and the Texas game, they're dominant pitching-wise. So, you just never quite know what you're going to get with these guys, but usually whatever it is turns out to be pretty good.
So the Nathan Detmer redemption story, it is, especially when you hear his post-game comments, we forget, not on purpose, but sometimes people forget they're human. They're young men. Kids in some of our eyes, right? We could be their parents. And they're young men who go through, they read the stuff that people write. They have the same kind of emotions when they have a poor performance. This young man goes out there and pitches the game of his life. And he's the future of this program, by the way. This is what I think we're going to expect from him because we saw it for a nice while this year. He has the injury, the blister, and things go a little south. But yesterday, he just redefines his legacy and keeps A&M's history going.
Yeah, he really did. I know there have been no hitters thrown, but when and I have to be talking to a A&M baseball historian, but has there ever been, number one, a bigger pitching performance? I mean, they're at the College World Series in an elimination game. And then number two, a greater comeback story. The guy that couldn't get out of the second inning against Oklahoma gives up 7 earned runs in 2 innings in a loss that you lost by 5, and hasn't been through 5 innings in over a month. And then he feels like he let the team down. He doesn't know who he is anymore as a pitcher. He's broken. He goes back to his hotel room on Friday night and he just wants to be alone. He wants, he admits that he cried some which was probably hard for him to admit, but that no time for pride, I guess, or at least in that aspect. And then he gets a text of encouragement from his teammate Micah Dallas, and then he goes in prayer, and I'm sure he got some encouraging words from some other people, and it just he just woke up the next day with just a different feeling. And then when Schlossnagle says, "Hey, we're going with you," it's the old get back on the horse thing, right? As soon as possible. And he goes out, and he's a one-man potato famine for the Irish yesterday. He just was everything he did that he just left them empty. And it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, beautiful to watch. And I think the dynamic between he and Micah Dallas, because they've had similar stories, if you will, but also different types of stories, right? Micah Dallas comes here after a lot of experience from Texas Tech, playing in the College World Series, but comes here to take a bigger role and a bigger step. He has success early on. He goes real south for a while and then pitches some of the best he's ever pitched in the College World Series in the postseason. Nathan Detmer becomes the ace of this squad. He is phenomenal. Gets the blister, loses his luster, if you will. I think his ERA you put in your column, what was it?
Like over 10.
Over 10.
In the previous 7 games.
In the last 7 games, yeah. So you put those
before the Notre Dame game, yeah.
You put that together, and then it's Micah Dallas who was down and out and finds his way out because of belief from Jim Schlossnagle. Same kind of thing happening with Nathan Detmer. It is Schloss who says, "Hey, we're going to give you another chance," and Micah Dallas putting his hand on his back saying, "We got you, man. You're going to do this. That game does not define you." But you know what? His sports history. I said I was thinking in my pre-show thoughts. This is kind of Zach Calzada-esque on a different level, because Zach will be cemented in history because of what he did against Alabama. Nathan Detmer in the College World Series had that kind of moment yesterday.
Yeah, he did. The only difference is that, and I don't mean to be cracking on Zach here, but like you mentioned, Nathan has been good before.
Mm-hmm.
Calzada had been struggling and then, had a game of his life. But you knew that the ability was there with Nathan Detmer, and you were wondering, okay, what's the problem now? Is it a mental thing? Some might have questioned his mental toughness.
Yeah.
But to come back after what happened, that disaster against OU, and then remember the first play of the game, he throws a good pitch and it goes right to Trent Werner, who played great at third base, by the way. But on that particular play, the first play, he boots it for an error.
Yep.
And if you're weak, if you have weak-mindedness, I guess, because we call it strong-mindedness, but if you're fragile mentally, you might already be ready to collapse. You're thinking, okay, here it goes, right? I threw a good pitch. I still can't get the guy out. And I just had a disaster in my last start. I've been struggling for over a month, and now look. But no, he just comes back and gets the next 3 guys, I think it was, and just starts cruising. I mean, he was pitching as well as anybody here.
Schloss is 2 steps ahead of everyone, right? He is National Coach of the Year. We've said it for a while, but give this guy the National Coach of the Year. He has been that good. They got the highest ranked team still left. They still got a tough hurdle to jump over, but I think going with Detmer the way he did and the buttons he has pushed has showed why he is so darn good.
He really has. An example. It's not just the pitching, because I'm sure you saw it when they got in a little bit of trouble in the 8th and 9th. But in the 9th, Notre Dame had the lead runner on, and he notices, Schlossnagle does, while everybody else is watching the pitcher, right? He notices that the base runner really isn't paying attention to anything but the pitch. He's kind of watching, okay, do I run? And so Schlossnagle calls for Moo Menifee to, throw to first. and he has a good pickoff move anyway. Well, you saw it. He made the pickoff move, and the guy was just dead in the water. I mean, he had to try to turn into a steal, and they got the rundown. And the athleticism of Moo Menifee was too much for him, and Moo makes the diving tag on him. So, and that really, to me, that's when Notre Dame said, "Oh, okay, let's just stop." I know they got. I mean, you think, okay, if you're a Notre Dame fan, all right, we've got the leadoff guy on. Now it's time for that 4-run rally. And they picked off that leadoff guy.
And by the way, the athleticism from Moo. I mean, his face. I don't know if you saw the television when they played it on replay. His face, like he knew he had him. Like it was one of those, I got you, man. I got you. I know what's up.
Actually, I didn't. They have TVs, but the way they're located in the press box and where we are, it's too much of a hassle to try to see them. But you can look at that game and you can say, look what Moo Menifee comes in when Notre Dame has 2 on after a home run, and he strikes out the first guy and then gets the double play ball to Trevor Werner. I think he had 6 putouts, including that double play. And then he gets the pick off, and Werner hits the home run, and you got the Jack Moss with a double, followed by Chris Rock. Dylan Rock, RBI, and then that big 3rd inning. And you look at all the things that were significant plays and significant moments in that game, but it still comes back to Nathan Detmer and just 7 scoreless innings. And quite frankly, I thought they might say, all right, we're going to put you out there in the 8th until you don't get somebody out. Right. But you're dealing. But, Schlossnagle, you say 2 steps ahead. Yeah, he has to win that game. He has to, or it's over. But he's saying, well, I'm going to pitch him on short rest because Oklahoma, if we play them, is better against right-handed pitchers than left-handed. I got some left-handed guys. And then I got to think about, can I bring him back some other time if we keep winning? Because he wasn't here to beat Texas, and he wasn't here just beat Notre Dame. He's here to do everything he can to win. And I don't know if they're going to win the College World Series. They're at a disadvantage, but he is plotting it. What do I have to do to give us the best chance to win it all? And what moves do I have to make? And, and he's making them.
Yeah, he's making those moves. I do want to bring up one last point before we hit a break here and go around and say hello to everybody. But I think it's so cool. Like, you have the redemption story for Nathan Detmer. How about the role reversal on defense? Notre Dame came in, a very good defensive team. They had some miscues. A&M, other than that first hit of the game, other than that, I mean, Trevor Werner was incredible in the corner. Defensively, the team played phenomenal.
They really did. Yeah, they really did. There might have been one fly to Rock that maybe he had a chance to make a play on. He would have been right up against the wall. It would have been very difficult. Thought it might be a home run. It is a double, but you can't necessarily be perfect. But you know what? For the vast majority, they made the plays that were there to be made. And Schlossnagle has been stressing, hey, we can't give up the free bases. Well, Detmer did not walk a batter. He did hit one, but he didn't walk anybody. And they had the one error, and they weren't giving up the free bases. And look at the difference.
Yeah, look at the difference. Let's go around and say hello to the people on the show behind the glass. Sam Kamen, watching every pitch very closely. Sam, good morning to you. Hi, David. I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Hey, there
Good morning. How we doing?
Hey, buddy.
Good. Y'all doing good?
This is an awkward exchange. Let's just get right to your hello.
Hey, well, I'm just excited we're talking baseball one more day, and hopefully another day, and then the day after,
I'm hoping, and I think that I end up in Omaha this weekend. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh,
right?
I would love to hop on a flight with someone.
Yeah, you're not coming. But I cannot wait to, I know Billy's probably heading out there this morning. OB, by the way, did you change your room, OB? Looks different.
Yeah, we're out of the Airbnb, and now we're in the Harrah's in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
How far is that?
Like 2 miles.
Oh, you're right there. Yeah.
But we're closer to the stadium in Iowa than we were in Omaha.
That's funny. That's funny. Hey, Sam, anything jump out at you?
No, just the fact that the biggest thing was pitching, and before the game it was, hey, if we can get to the bullpen early and have a lengthy start and get it to the bullpen on our side, we'll be fine. And what do you know? But Nathan goes 7 innings scoreless, and we only give up 1 run after that, and then we got into Notre Dame's bullpen within the 3rd inning, even though probably should have been the 2nd inning, but outside of the bad call to Troy Claunch. But just it's what this team does, and I foresee hopefully the offense doing something similar to Oklahoma's guy tonight, and hopefully we can piecemeal the defensive side.
Hey, we got to hit a break here, but I do want to go to Anna Rosa there at the News and Social Center. Anna, you shared a little picture and a story, or video, I should say, of how yesterday's class went for you during the A&M baseball game.
Yes, I'm really exposing myself here. If any, A&M,
are you allowed to?
You know what? I really don't care at this point. I mean, it's in the past now, but I'm exposing myself if any A&M administration or professors are listening to this right now that know of my master's program, because we had class yesterday so inconveniently during the game, the most important time of the day, and everyone, of course, was playing the game on laptops or phone, and so I was just showing David a video of how class was going on, and everyone was dialed into the game as they should be, and I didn't have it on my phone because I was too nervous, but the guy in front of me did, and so I was texting him like, hey, you mind tilting it this way so I can see too? It was just funny hearing people silently grunt over errors in the game or kind of cheering silently in their seats. So, but yeah, I think we all wish we were in Omaha right now. I had a great time when I was there, but I will say one of the highlights of my trip was coming home filled with a flight full of Longhorns. That was a good to see everyone there.
That's fantastic.
It's been a flight.
Yeah, that real quiet. Hey, so let's do this. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more OB. Billy's going to join us at 8:35. For over 140 years, the Association of Former Students has helped Aggies all around the world, and they've done that because you've empowered them by your financial donations to help them help others. That's what the association does. They help people, Aggies, current students, former students, you name it. That's what they want to do. They're helping the university there with Aggie Park that's coming out as a beautiful gift. They do scholarships, Aggie Band, Silver Taps, Ring Day. That's what the association does. They give gifts. And the why is for reasons just like you. The association is in support of all Aggies and A&M lovers out there because of what you've done for this wonderful university. The programs, the traditions that Aggies love and do, they're all a part of it. And that's why they've created IamTheWhy.com. I'm encouraging you to go check it out because some phenomenal stories are on there that tells the story of Aggies, the things they've gone through while at Texas A&M and beyond. IamTheWhy.com, a collection of stories where pretty soon you will be able to put your story up there and have others see it. It is IamTheWhy.com. Again, the website, IamTheWhy.com.
I'm Sarah Hook with your community calendar on The Zone. Texas A&M Libraries is hosting the travel exhibition Wild Life, Guild Book of Wonders triannual exhibition at Cushing Memorial Library and Archives through June 24th. The Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History invites you to a free opening event for their new exhibition, Checkered Past to the Story of Board Games, Friday, June 24th at 6:30 p.m. The Theater Company of Bryan College Station presents Disney's Newsies. Performances run June 10th through the 26th. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Come out and support the Bryan High Cheyennes at their annual summer car wash. They will be at the Tejas Center behind the Villa Maria HEB from 9 a.m. to noon on Saturday, June 25th. You can listen to The Zone online at RadioAggieland.com. Listen to TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, Chip Howard, or ESPN Radio, plus all your favorite A&M teams online at RadioAggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Sarah Hook on The Zone.
We're looking for the best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, BVR Waste and Recycling, a big company, Wesley Toll House Cafe by Chip and Molly Maid. Voting is July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count at bestofthebrazos.com.
Since 1957, Slovakic Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovakic is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovakic. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovakic Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Experience life and save at Moody Gardens. Introducing Rainforest of the World Dynamic Dwellers. As small creatures are doing big things in the Rainforest Pyramid. Dip into coastal life at the Aquarium Pyramid, Palm Beach, Beats on the Beach, the Colonel Paddle Wheel Boat, and dinner cruises. This August, have the time of your life at the Island Rideout and Bike Expo, Air Car and Boat Show, and a Dive Expo. Save with a value pass to Moody Gardens attractions, hotel and golf packages, and enjoy free Saturday fireworks. Island life at its best. Save at moodygardens.org.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
You used to watch the Adam West Batman?
Absolutely.
That was my favorite show ever.
Batman!
Yeah. Oh, my God, that show was so good.
Catwoman, the whole deal.
Julie Newmar was my all-time crush.
That was a right? Remember she used to make that sound?
It's perfect. Oh, that Batman right there. It's the best TV I ever saw in my life to this day.
Boom, bang,
yeah.
pow!
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
You know, he'd only thrown 44 pitches. I didn't like the matchup if we were going to throw Prager. You know, you want to be left-handed. I mean, OU's a great team, whether you had a right-handed pitcher or a left-handed pitcher, but I think you'd rather be left-handed against them as much as you can. And obviously we want to win and stay here, but also I'd like to win the thing. And I felt like if we're going to have a chance to win the College World Series and pitch deep and play, still be playing on Sunday or Monday, Detmer was going to have to pitch twice. And the longer we waited to start him, the less likely he would be able to do it, or he'd have to do it on even shorter rest. So the fact that he had only thrown 44 pitches on Friday gave us an opportunity to do that. And him being a sinker ball guy, usually those guys, they sometimes can be a little bit better on a little bit shorter rest. And so that was the thought process. I honestly didn't think we had an option. I thought that was the only option. If we were A, going to try and beat Notre Dame, and B, try to win the College World Series, which we're a long way from that.
Lost in the Schloss. There he is, Jim Schlossnagel. There he is. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. By the way, appreciate all the text messages coming in on the AMB text line. We will try to get to those throughout the show. Billy joining us in a little less than 10 minutes, but we'll have some open segments in here. You can also call us up on the BCSI hotline, which is where OB is right now, 979-693-1150. OB, I'm just going to make today's all about baseball. We will talk a little football with Jason Howell at 10:05 recruiting, and we'll talk with Adam Rittenberg, who's wrote a lot about A&M in the past week from ESPN. But for the most part, it is all about A&M baseball. But I do want to say this: I'm telling you, I thought the people hated the fitness talk, but Niles and Heath sends a very nice text message saying more fitness talk. So OB, you and I are going to do like a fitness podcast soon, where we're going to break down everything that you're doing fitness-wise.
You know, I was already in bad shape. And then we've come out here, and I'm on an expense account. And by the way, there's very few things, I don't know if it's scary or impressive, than eating with a dinner with Ryan Broniger.
All meat.
All everything. And the guy, I'm afraid that TexAgs may start putting some per diems in place or something after we turn in our expense reports.
I can just
Broniger's like Biden. You know, he's when he goes to the dinner table, man, he spins without conscience.
The carnivore Ryan Broniger. Hey, so part of it is my fault, but all the research that I had done and read about Notre Dame was this Jack Finley guy was like Dennis Eckersley. Well, he was the Dennis Eckersley that we saw against Kirk Gibson. But the way that the Aggies really got they actually had more success against him than the starter, who I didn't think had that great of stuff. But you look at his line, 5 strikeouts, a couple of hits.
A lot of walks.
Yeah.
A lot of walks. he was rattled and couldn't find the strike zone. And then they brought in Finley. Now, his defense betrayed him too.
Sure.
You know, he might have gotten out of that third inning and there was a throwing error. But okay, you know, A&M, when they've had errors, you know, nobody gave anything back. So, you know, you put the pressure on the other team and make them make mistakes. And but they did. They got they hit Finley where like Tennessee couldn't. You know, the best offense in the country, right? And Tennessee got one hit in 5 innings against Jack Finley, and A&M hit him pretty well, knocked him out. And I was surprised that A&M didn't add to their lead, to its lead. It had some chances, but, you know, it's okay because you had Detmer and Moo Menifee. You had more than enough run support. So, but yeah. And you know what, David, I don't know, maybe going out and hitting a guy like that is meaning that these guys are ready to take on Jake Bennett, who I think will be the pitcher. I don't know for OU. He may not, but he's the guy that they started against A&M in the first game. You know, maybe, you know, they're getting on a roll, and I think they're going to have to start, you know, they're going to have to be scoring 8 to 10 runs to have a chance, I think. But, you know, that's what they typically do, so that's okay.
Speaking of scoring 8 to 10 runs, getting the top of the lineup going again, so key. In a game that you only scored 5 runs, it felt like a bigger deficit than that for Notre Dame. But getting the 4 hits from the top 3 batters there, Jack Moss, you know, got on board. You got Dylan Rock with his RBI. You had Trevor Warner with his home run. Getting those guys going could pay off well today.
Yeah, and you know, Jack Moss did not have a Jack Moss type of game. I think he did have a double and score, but other than that, I think he struck out 3 or 4 times, which I don't think I've seen Jack Moss strike out that many times since I've been covering him. I mean, total. So, and I bring that up to say that he's the type of guy that I just don't think you're going to see him have, you know, 2 bad days in a row. I think he's going to be putting the ball in play. I think Dylan Rock, you know, showing some signs of breaking out of the slump. I think he had gone like something like 0 for 13 or 0 for 14 in official at bats before yesterday. And he had some success, and Bose is hitting the ball well. He's had a home run up here. And so, yeah, if you can get that, the way your bottom of the order has been playing, especially Jordan Thompson, if you can get that top order doing what they've done most of the season, then, you know, you're definitely going to have a realistic shot of getting to the finals, because you're going to have to hit, I think, hit and play some better defense, and you're going to have a shot.
OB, let's close with this. This team, this A&M team, has been so good against everybody, but more specifically, the teams that are left and really good teams. I know that they lost to Oklahoma, and I think that game would have felt different with a little bit of defense, but it is what it is. They're in this position now. This team, though, plays really well against top teams.
They do, and they play really well with their backs to the wall, and their backs are to the wall. So it's just the way they respond, right? The old, you know, they're just tough when they're against the wall. So I would expect them to come out and play well today, because they have to. And I think that's one of the things that has captured everybody's imagination about this team. It's just, you know, just the gritty grinders that aren't necessarily flashy and things like that. But the old, you know, the old blue collar thing, such a cliche in sports, but yeah, it really fits to these guys. They're all probably going to be white collar guys someday, but right now they're blue collar guys that are easy to cheer for.
Appreciate you, OB. Hopefully we can do it again from that awesome hotel room. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
There he is. I can't stop doing. There he is. Olin Buchanan on the BCSI hotline. He is there. We see him. I still see him. He's still on the Zoom. When we come back here on TexAgs Radio, Billy Lucci on his way to the airport. We'll talk to him about everything going on with Aggie baseball and beyond. It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Bobby Knight and Bill Belichick have both stared him down.
The party don't stop.
It's David Nuno on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on the Zone.
We're looking for the best, and we want you to decide. Voting is now open for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Tell us who you like best in dining, shopping, wellness, services, and everything that makes this the best place to live. Vote online now at bestofthebrazos.com. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Hagler's Resale Teak, The Break Room, B&B Automotive, Mary Maids, and Sovac City. Voting is July 5th. You get one vote, so make it count. bestofthebrazos.com.
Tom Morales here, Operations Manager at Spirit Ice Arena, inviting you to visit us for birthday parties, skating lessons, fun, and fellowship. Just need a breather from the weather and a cool, clean, safe environment? Spirit Ice Arena is vigilant in keeping you safe and healthy. Our common areas are sanitized throughout the day, and our touchable on-ice surfaces are sanitized between sessions by our Zamboni driver. Our ice sheet is 17,000 square feet, making social distancing easy. Visit SpiritIceArena.com for more info. Spirit Ice Arena, social distancing made easy.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Happy Camper School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual. Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
There is a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience full of family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 22nd through 25th for the induction of Bud Fowler, Gil Hodges, Jim Cott, Minnie Minoso, Tony Oliva, Buck O'Neill, and David Ortiz as the class of 2022. Visit baseballhall.org today.
On Sports Talk, I visit with author Howard Bryant on his Ricky Henderson biography about all the talent that came out of the city of Oakland.
All of that migration and the talent that went with it all lived in the same place. So you had Frank Robinson from Texas, and Joe Morgan from Texas, and Kurt Flood from Texas, and Bill Russell from Louisiana, Ricky, Lloyd Mosby from Arkansas. All of them ended up within 20 blocks of each other. It's just, it's an incredible amount of talent.
Sports Talk, it's an education. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on the Zone.
We'll make heaven a place on earth. Ooh, heaven is a place on earth.
As I said before, it really was tough. When I came out after that game, I just felt so little, and I felt like I let everyone down. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I went in my hotel room and I cried, and I just didn't know what to do. I felt lost. But my good friend Micah Dallas, he texted me that from one game, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define me as a person, and baseball doesn't really define me as a person. It's all my worth is through God, and I just prayed to Him that night, and He just told me that that's not my story, and He's got a plan for me, and that one game wasn't it. And sure enough, I just had to trust in His plan. I knew He had a plan for me, and had success today, and it was awesome, great feeling.
So much wisdom in that soundbite there from Nathan Detmer, and the kind of soundbite that I'm going to have to play for my kids later, because I think there's so much value in everything that he just said there, that one moment doesn't define you. But I tell you what, we're going to remember that performance forever. It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Lucci's on his way to the airport, I believe. Let's go to the BCSI hotline. Good morning, Luch.
Nuno, what's up, buddy?
My man, let's start off with Nathan Detmer right there. That performance, I called it Zach Calzada-esque in a different kind of way, but the stakes have never been higher, and that guy really came and brought the best game he could.
Well, that was just incredible. I would say it was an out-of-body experience, but we've seen him do it before. So it wasn't like this guy that's never done it just came out and just had a game of his life. He's had those kind of games. We just hadn't seen it in a while. And for it to come out and to come off of what was obviously his worst performance, and he went in depth about how big a setback it really was. And you think about, for a competitive athlete, to go pitch on the biggest stage and not last 2 innings. I mean, but he wanted the ball back. He didn't shrink away from it and say, "Man, I don't want to go back out there." That atmosphere ate me up. I failed. Like he said, he felt so small, and it's tough to listen to an athlete say, or a young man, young woman, whatever. I felt small. 'Cause that's what he looked like walking off the field. He didn't look small. He looked like he felt small. You know, you felt for him coming off, even though you're like, gosh, you really wanted the guy to go out and pitch well. But when you saw him, you go, that's a human being. That's a young person that failed at what they wanted to do. And to come out and just say, I want the ball back, and to not only get the ball back and mean what you said when you said you wanted it, but to come out and have the game of your life, where the stakes, quite frankly, are even higher, because now it's an elimination game. And to pitch the way he did, which was, you just can't pitch better. There's nothing better than what he put out on the field yesterday. It's just incredible. It's such a feel-good story. It's a cool story, and it keeps the ultimate feel-good story going with the Aggies advancing to get that rematch with OU and hopefully set up a winner-take-all showdown on Thursday.
Billy, throughout the years, I've always come to you for these historical moments where they rank, and not necessarily in a pecking order, but just like yesterday, I feel like it's something that's going to be ingrained in our Aggie history that we're going to remember like 20 years from now. Remember that Nathan Detmer performance? Remember that AC Law shot? Remember that Zach Calzada pass? Like, I feel like it's in that same kind of territory.
Oh, yeah, that's got to go in there. I would say the Detmer performance, the whole Omaha, it has a chance to be number one, okay? If they win a national championship, it's number one. And I know we're SEC country and it's football, and until A&M, wins a natty in football, which would surpass everything, or maybe wins I think you'd have to win like some dramatic playoff game to get to the title game or something. Something incredible in football would surpass anything, obviously. But for where we are in A&M sports history today, if Texas A&M goes on and wins this tournament, it's number one of any sporting accomplishment or any memory, unforgettable moment, whatever that this program or this department, this school has ever seen. So that's actually on the table. Let's not lose sight of that fact, okay? That's 4 wins away from it going in a top spot. But yeah, man, the whole thing, Detmer's performance, beating the crap out of Texas, Baelish striking out Melendez, Trevor Warner's this whole thing is what I would group it together as, and I would say it's moved into my top 5. I mean, you remember the Truitt, the home runs against Clemson, Scarborough Truitt homers. You remember, obviously, slightly before my time, Byington. Obviously, the 2012 Big 12 championship win over Kansas State's right there at the top. The 2 wins over Bama sit way, way up there near the top. But this is moved into that kind of territory, Nuno. It really has. And from a baseball standpoint, I think if you're really being fair, you have to put it number one. These last couple victories, what they've meant, it's number one in A&M baseball history already. So, I mean, they can only go up from here and start moving into, like, greatest accomplishments in A&M athletics history. And it's fast moving up the list. And if you're talking about how memorable this stuff was, it's also up there just in the manner in which A&M's doing it. Walk-off win in the Super Regional, that wild game against TCU. I mean, this has been pretty damn unforgettable stuff. What I'm fascinated with is you're trying to say, can they get through and win it? Man, they're 8-5. They've played 13 games against teams that went to this World Series, and they're 8-5 against them. OU's red hot. Ole Miss is red hot. We know that. Texas A&M won a division that included 2 of the remaining 4 teams, the other 3 teams left in this thing. They won that division. They won series against 2 of those 3 remaining teams. So that's where we're at right now.
Billy, I don't want to dumb this down too much, but to me it feels like if this team plays clean baseball, they win games because of the way they can hit the ball. But it's really about clean baseball. Of course, you need some timely pitching or some great pitching, but I feel like the clean baseball is really what gets you there. Looks like we lost Billy. We'll try to get Billy back here on the line here in a moment. You're listening to TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. If you look at yesterday's game, if you look at how they handled everything defensively, the roles were reversed. Notre Dame was the team that came in with a lot of cachet when it came to defensively and pitching. But what we saw was something completely different. We saw the A&M the A&M defense really take the lead. They had one little mistake to start off the game, and that was it. After that, it was pretty clean baseball throughout. Notre Dame was the team that found themselves in a difficult position. They struggled at that point. So trying to figure out what's going on with Billy. We lost him for a moment. Maybe we'll get him back here. He is still not on the line as I'm looking at our BCSI hotline. We'll try to close up with those thoughts with Billy, and we'll try to do that. But the bottom line is, you're not always going to get that extraordinary pitching performance that you saw yesterday. And hopefully we will see more. But that pitching performance you saw from Nathan Detmer yesterday, I mean, I don't want to call it rare because we've seen him do that, but with these stakes. But the defense behind it, when they had struggled so much, and really it takes away from, like, maybe we look at Nathan's last game against Oklahoma differently if the defense is a little different at that point. So to me, that all plays a part in this storyline and how we look at it. But at the end of the day, play clean baseball. And do what your lineup does, I think you win this game. I do. I do think you win this game. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. If we get Billy back here in the next segment, great. If not, we'll get to your text messages and some final thoughts. Right now, I'm excited to talk about Heritage Films. They are awesome. Love Chance McClain and the documentary films that they make out there. If your dad has got a story, your uncle's got a story, your grandfather's got a story, those stories need to be passed down to generation after generation. You who are listening right now, you've got a story for your family. No longer do you have to play the game of telephone where your dad tells you this story and then you tell your son that story, and then it kind of gets lost. And I think he grew up on this street. He had this teacher, but I don't remember. It was somewhere in South Texas. Where? Okay, now you get it from the source on a video, but done like a Netflix-style documentary. That's what Chance McClain does. He makes documentary films for all of you. People just like you. Aggies all around the country have been going to Heritage Films and learning how to get this amazing documentary done about their family. The website, yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
I'm Sarah Hook with your community calendar on The Zone. It's time again for the Elizabeth Lutheran July 3rd celebration in Caldwell. Festivities start at 6, fireworks go off around 9:30. Visit elizabeth-lutheran.org for more information. BCS Habitat for Humanity is hosting its annual Bolt Build tournament on Friday, July 15th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Grand Station Entertainment. Space is limited, so go to habitatbcs.org/events/bowl-to-build to learn more and sign up your team today. Texas A&M is hosting an International Collegiate Robotics Competition at the Memorial Student Center June 25th through the 27th. For more information, go online to tamurobomasters.com. Every Thursday night when the Brazos Valley Bombers are at home, it's Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by The Zone. $1 beer, soda, or water. It's Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by The Zone. That's your community calendar. I'm Sarah Hook on The Zone.
Family-owned Dixie Tire Company is your authorized Mastercraft and Cooper tire dealer. Need tires for your car, truck, tractor, trailer, lawnmower, or even your wheelbarrow? Dixie Tire Company has them. Need a certain brand of custom wheels or auto accessories or truck lift kits? Need a flat repair, tire and wheel rotation, or tire pressure sensor repaired or replaced? Dixie Tire can help. Serving the BCS for over 30 years at 301 West William J. Bryan Parkway, across from the fire station. Open Monday through Fridays until 6 and Saturdays till 1. Call them at 775-TIRE.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Texas Army National Guard. Aired by the Texas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 east at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
I, Louis Bellina, would like to invite you to hang out with me and my friends weekdays from 11 to 2 right here on The Zone. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Friends like Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery, Billy Lucci, Olin Buchanan of the TexAgs universe, people like Joe Sheehan of the Joe Sheehan newsletter, Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness, and more. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
All right, we're back. Let's get quickly to the BCSI hotline. Billy Lucci about to take off. We lost him for a moment, but he's here to give some final thoughts here. Billy, we were leaving it at if they play clean defense, they should win whatever game they're in.
Well, the irony is, they've been so shaky defensively all year, and you look at the last two games, it's been the opponent that have made the disastrous defensive mistakes. Texas with a couple of really bad ones, Notre Dame with one really bad one, and then another instance where the pitcher, what could have been a double play, led to trouble there. That is part of it, but Prager's going to have the game of his life. And by that, the good news is he doesn't have to be what Nathan Detmer was yesterday. But, man, if they could get – I mean, this is asking a lot, but, you see it happen all the time in college sports in general. If he can just find it within himself and get you 5 innings. I mean, I really think he get you 4 with, a run, 2 run, 3 runs, that'd be fine too. But if he can get you through 5 or into the 5th, and A&M's, within a run or ahead, that's the winning formula for the Aggies. Because I think here's what I think is set up now, right? And I tweeted this yesterday. I think they're set up, David, just like a Sunday game. Okay, I don't know if OU's announced who they're pitching yet. Have they?
You're breaking up. What was that?
I don't know if OU's announced who they're pitching yet. Have they?
No, they have not announced. There's some rumors out there, but no, they haven't announced it.
What are the rumors?
Let me find my notes here. Just talk for a moment.
All right.
The kid who struggled pitching against the Aggies and struggled the time before that.
That's who they should pitch.
Yeah.
That they should pitch that guy who struggled against Virginia Tech, got shelled and struggled. That's who they should pitch. It would make no sense because if they can get by and win that game, which is essentially a throwaway, then their pitching is lined up 1, 2, 3 for the championship series. The alternative is pitching a guy that A&M faced 5 days ago, and did score 8 off of, and he'd be going on short rest. And if he loses, then you're pitching this same guy that you would pitch today in an elimination game against an A&M team with all kinds of momentum. So this is shaping up to me because he's essentially OU's third starter now. It's shaping up like A&M's Sunday games have all year. And we know how the Aggies have typically done on Sunday. So it's shaping up to be, Prager and the bullpen, and they pretty much have everyone at the disposal. Obviously, you'd love to say, to have Palish and Moo on Thursday if you need him, especially Palish, because he can chew up significant innings. But really, you've got everybody if you need them. But Prager, Cortez, Wyatt Tucker, Rudis, you've got who else am I thinking? I'm leaving somebody else significant off of there. Kalish, if you need him, they've got guys. This is looking a lot, David, like the A&M. They're used to this. This is not out of the realm of what A&M can do now. They've been there, done that, and that's what they're looking at now. This is looking like a Sunday game. This is looking like that TCU game where they beat the Horned Frogs, and just hopefully you can get a little more out of Prager on the front end of it. But
so it's David Sandlin, the pitcher that we're talking about, Billy, who gave up 4 runs to the Aggies.
Yeah, this team does not. This team does not. They're not wading into something that should be foreign to them today. Okay, they've been there, done this many times over in this kind of matchup, and they've won them. So, and I think the pressure, whatever pressure they were feeling in Game 1 against OU, should be that should be long gone and in the rear view. So, should be an exciting game. I think it really is one that could go either way. So, heck, like we both have said a million times, we're not counting this team out. Certainly can do it.
They're one of 4 teams left, and hopefully they make it to the final 2 there and win it all. Billy, thanks, man. Safe travels. We'll talk to you when you get there.
All right, David.
Later.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, man. Billy Lucci there on the BCSI hotline. A lot of text messages on the A&B text line. We'll have to get to those at some point. Promise I will. BCSI hotline as well. When we come back here, we are going to take a little football break. We're going to talk with Adam Rittenberg of ESPN. He's got some thoughts on A&M. He's got some thoughts on programs moving in the right direction, A&M being one of those, and his future power index, how A&M ranks on that as well. We've got all that, plus much more baseball. Bronny's going to be calling us up from Omaha. We'll talk to Bronny. We'll have Kendall Rogers at the bottom of the 10 o'clock hour, even mix in some recruiting talk at the top of the 10. So, as I mentioned, mostly baseball, little football. All love here for Nathan Detmer and the Aggies, Coach Schloss, you name it. Lost in the Schloss. We'll come back with 2 more hours of TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
The strength of America, our values, our way of life hasn't just been won on the battlefield. It's won every day in our communities when we come together, extending hands of compassion, service, and hope to those who need it most. For over 100 years, the American Legion has been strengthening communities across our nation by providing life-saving help and support to our veterans and neighbors during times like we're facing today. It's what the Legion's all about. From blood drives to distributing food, from responding to emergencies and protecting the most vulnerable among us. Our mission is making America's communities stronger.
We are one family, and therefore we care.
We are the American Legion, veterans strengthening America. To learn how you can help, visit legion.org.
Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. Follow us on Twitter at Zone 1150. Get connected now. Get connected now. With Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, this is News on the Zone. Employees in College Station ISD will receive a pay raise of at least 2% during the next school year. CSISD board members passed a resolution last night that also includes an additional raise if voters in November approve decreasing next year's property tax rate by 3 cents instead of 6 cents. Board member Joshua Ben said it'll be up to the community to promote the proposal.
Board members and so forth are legally limited into the amount of advocacy that we can do. And so everybody who's here tonight, if you get out and not only vote for it, but also support it, And I probably should shut up there because I'm probably advocating.
If voters approve, additional local and state money will give another 4% increase for CSISD teachers and non-administrative employees and 2% more for administrators. Monday night, Bryan ISD board members unanimously approved pay raises where teachers, counselors, and librarians move up on the salary schedule, plus another $1,500 plus retention bonuses. College Station police report the southbound lanes of Highway 6 were closed Monday for more than 6 hours from 2 crashes. The first was a semi that blew a tire, struck a concrete barrier, and also leaked diesel fuel. Then a truck pulling an empty horse trailer hit a piece of textile equipment that spokesman Bob Coel says was placed to protect their employees who are taking care of the diesel spill.
A truck-mounted attenuator acts as a crash cushion. It prevents truck from going into our work zone.
CSPD and TxDOT report no one was injured. A Houston woman's out of the Brazos County Jail on her promise to return for future court appearances on a charge of causing a hit-and-run crash that injured the driver of a scooter. 21-year-old Melissa Escareno was arrested almost 3 months after the March 29th collision at Walton and Foster, it's a block east of Texas. According to College Station Police arrest report, a witness saw the scooter driver fly off and strike his head on a construction sign. Driver of the scooter taken to the hospital for treatment of a broken wrist and broken collarbone. And that's news on the Zone.
If you own construction equipment and need replacement rubber tracks, now's the time to get $200 off your next set of rubber tracks at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan. Hurry in. $200 off rubber tracks in soon. Highway 21 East at Marino Road or click WPI.com.
For years, you've heard me say, we'll show you how to make mowing as close to fun as it gets. Hi, this is David Hogan with Kyrus, inviting you to come out and check our inventory of Ferris zero-turn mowers with full suspension. The zeros are still in effect with 0 down and 0% interest on all zero-turn riding mowers in stock. Cut your mowing time in half with 0 down and 0% interest on all zero turns. Come see us at Kyrus Truck Center, Highway 21, half mile east of the bypass in Bryan.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M baseball surviving and advancing. The Aggies defeated Notre Dame yesterday afternoon 5-1 to advance to the semifinal round of the College World Series for the first time in program history. Right-hander Nathan Detmer had a stellar performance on the mound, bouncing back from a rough start on Friday to toss 7 shutout innings, allowing 3 hits and striking out 6. Detmer on his big turnaround.
After that game, I just felt so little. I felt like I let everyone down, and I'm not going to lie to you. I went in my hotel room and I cried, and I just didn't know what to do. I felt lost, but my good friend Micah Dallas, he texted me that one game, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define me as a person, and baseball doesn't really define me as a person. It's all my worth is through God, and I just prayed to him that night, and he just told me that that's not my story. He's got a plan for me, and that one game wasn't it, and sure enough, I just had to trust in his plan. I knew he had a plan for me and had success today, and it was awesome. Great feeling.
With the win, Nathan and the guys set up a rematch with Oklahoma this afternoon. Now the Sooners got the better of the Ags Friday, 13-8. First pitch is at 1 o'clock at Charles Schwab Field with broadcast right here on the Zone. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On the Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
All right, we are back. We're calling it TexAgs. We're calling it. It's the name of the show. It's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to talk a little baseball until Adam Rittenberg gets with us here from ESPN. He's supposed to join us here sometime in the 9 o'clock hour, so we'll hold tight till that happens, and we'll continue our dialogue when it comes to baseball. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you got some takes like where does this performance rank for you? I'd like to hear from you. Like in the past year, we've had some pretty epic performances. I mean, the basketball team, the entire season, kind of like the way Billy was talking about it, right? Like the entire basketball season just felt like a seismic shift. Well, we're going through that with baseball and really at a higher level. I mean, that was an NIT championship run that ended obviously at the end. But this right here, the Ags are one of the 4 best teams in baseball, 4 left teams, and they're still playing. And that performance you saw yesterday from Nathan Detmer, where does that rank in a year where we've seen the basketball team what they do? A&M getting their second victory over Alabama, and that performance from Zach Calzada with the injuries and the way the season was going south. All those reasons. Yesterday's game against Notre Dame, while the Texas game felt better, the stakes keep getting higher. And hopefully we'll say the same thing tomorrow if A&M is able to beat Oklahoma. So where does that rank for you, that performance? You can text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. The website is anb.com. They are good Texas banking. So you're looking at that performance yesterday and you're thinking to yourself, there's been a couple games in a row. I'm going to even say the Oklahoma game. The Oklahoma game, I felt like they were going to come back. Yes, when it was 8-0, it felt horrendous. But then they started making their run. They just couldn't get enough going at the end. But I'm not saying that 8 is going to be enough to win every game, but 8 with the mistakes that they made, all right, let's play that game again and see how it goes. Let the better team win. Right? Let's make it a best of 2 of 3. All right, let's win one more and force that final game. Let's get to that point. But they're not there yet. But when you look at what happened yesterday and you think about all the things that have gone on this season, the roller coaster ride that we all went through with them, Nathan Detmer's performance yesterday is going to be around for a while. One of those that we're going to talk about. Like every once in a while, the Zach Calzada performance pops up in conversation, right? It does. And it's because even though he's moved on and, he did not have a great season, we know that. It was funny. I was listening to Feinbaum. By the way, I have mixed emotions when it comes to Feinbaum. I'm not going to make this a Jimbo versus Feinbaum thing, but I was listening to Feinbaum, and he was being critical of last season. And I'm at a point where I get it. Like, I get why people are critical, but I also understand. Like, we're here. We're in the middle of things. We understand where things are. But they were able to, they had to overcome so much last year to be able to do that. And yes, they had a chance at the end of the season, but they lost the 2 games at the end to Ole Miss and to LSU. I say that in context, knowing where this A&M baseball team was expected to finish last in the SEC. So it is what it is. Let's do this. Sam, I'm going to let you work on that. He's sending me a message. And we'll get to Bronny in the next segment. We'll do Bronny here. We'll break here in a few minutes because maybe I did tell Adam the wrong time. So it's on me. We'll figure that out as we move on. So a couple different things to say. I'd like to get to the text messages, but in the big picture of where A&M is headed, this is part of their story. And part of this story might end with a national championship here in a few days. But the entire season has had these moments of like, wow. Just an amazing moment. Just the ability to put them in this position from where they were, from where Micah Dallas was a month ago. Let's not forget, there was talk of like, do you even start this guy? Like, do you put him in this position? What do you do in the SEC tournament? What do you do beyond? Micah Dallas has been phenomenal. Nathan Detmer was great. Then he started having his struggles. And this is where he's at. It's been great. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa Peterson's got some stuff for us.
Yes, Rhett in Orlando gives us 2 keys to winning today's game. 1, take the outs when they give them to you, i.e. them bunting. And 2, give up less free bases when they do.
Yeah. Here, I told Billy this earlier, and I'm going to stick to it. The clean baseball, to me, is the key. Because I do think you're going to get pretty good pitching. How good of pitching are you going to get? I think you're going to get pretty good pitching. And I'm very confident when it comes to their offense. What that number needs to be, 8, 9, 10 runs, I think I think especially seeing guys for a second time. Now, OU's had some time to kind of rest and get some good guys going. And if they have an opportunity to knock out A&M, they're going to try to do that. But there's something about playing with momentum. And while Oklahoma is one of the hottest teams in the country playing with a lot of momentum, A&M is fresh off a couple of victories, where they have outscored their opponents, 15-1 in the last 15 innings. Play good defense, get some strong pitching. Doesn't have to be the Cy Young performance we saw from Nathan Detmer yesterday, but some pretty good pitching. Piecemeal it. The offense will take care of the rest. Anna Rosa?
Jim from Temple also says, awesome performance by Detmer yesterday. Given his previous foot blister problems, I am wondering if pitching coach Yeski might have helped Nate tweak his push-off and deliveries where there would be no friction on the area he was getting the blister. A slight mechanical adjustment enabling him to go 7 effective innings yesterday when we needed it the most. Have seen him do this before. Possible that coach may have noticed on film a slight tweak that needed to be made to get Nate back to his A game. Did not hear the word blister used by Ben McDonald or anyone else yesterday outside of one play. The defense was better too. All hands on deck today, hitting, scoring, pitching, and defense for our Aggies.
That's an all-encompassing text message.
He covered it all.
Yeah, fantastic stuff there. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, when they play their brand of baseball, they beat teams. They've beaten some of the best teams in baseball already. They have a winning record against some of the best teams in baseball. When they do that, they win games. They win series. And again, they continue to win series. And to me, this Oklahoma series, if you will, is now it's a series that was interrupted by a couple of games with Texas and with Notre Dame. But it's now a series, and I believe that this team wins series. Oklahoma's been hot, like super hot, beating some great teams. But where A&M is, it's if they get some better defense in that game, they win that game. To me, it's that simple. And here's a note that I found. A&M's record versus the College World Series field is now 8-5. They're also 7-1 in the NCAA tournament and 4-3 versus the 3 remaining teams. But they are 0-1 against OU. All right, that's the note that I found. So 0-1 against OU, we know why and how that all played out. But here they are with an opportunity to take it to another level, even that series, if you will, and hopefully go to an elimination game where you take it to them. When we'll see Micah Dallas again, when we'll see Nathan Detmer again, that's something we'll have to worry about later. But what we do know is that the gentleman that they're going to trot out there, and again, the top of the lineup starting to feel a little bit more. Trevor Warner going yard yesterday. Jack Moss still striking out a little bit, but did get that double. And Dylan Rock obviously providing some offense. That part gets going with what's already been going. Get some good pitching. It's going to be a good one. Let's do this. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with Bronny. We'll get to your text messages, and we'll try to get to Adam Rittenberg at 9:35. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Sarah Hook with your community calendar on the Zone. Texas A&M Libraries is hosting the travel exhibition Wild Life, Guild Book of Wonders triannual exhibition at Cushing Memorial Library and Archives through June 24th. The Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History invites you to a free opening event for their new exhibition, Checkered Past to the Story of Board Games, Friday, June 24th at 6:30 p.m. The theater company of Bryan College Station presents Disney's Newsies. Performances run June 10th through the 26th. Purchase tickets online at theatercompany.com/tickets. Come out and support the Bryan High Cheyennes at their annual summer car wash. They will be at the Tejas Center behind the Villa Maria HEB from 9 a.m. to noon on Saturday, June 25th. You can listen to The Zone online at RadioAggieland.com. Listen to TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, Chip Howard, or ESPN Radio, plus all your favorite A&M teams online at RadioAggieland.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Sarah Hook on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon. When we started Intercon in early 1991, we were well aware that we would be competing with some companies that use unscrupulous techniques to make a quick sale, such as bait and switch, or 40% off if you commit today, or misleading incomplete quotes. Intercon's practice is to be completely honest and encourage prospective customers to talk to our former customers. We've encouraged customers to get multiple quotes. We are confident and proud of our value proposition for windows, glass, and solar screens. We never want anyone to rush into a decision they will regret in the future. Just remember, warranties are only as good as the people who provide them and are servicing the area when situations arise. This is our home and only marketplace, and we will protect our home turf. You've probably heard the saying, the buck stopped here, and that is with me, Brad Beard, president and co-owner of Intercon LLC.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Ah, traffic.
Right.
This wagon commute is killing me. You mind if I turn on your old radio?
Oh, this song again. I swear they play the same 3 chants on every station.
At this rate, it's going to take a fortnight to get to work.
Well, just be glad you don't need to fill up. I mean, have you seen the price of hay?
Mm-hmm.
Throughout history, people have always hated to commute. That's why Monster lets you search work-from-home jobs. Find your job at monster.com or download the app.
I, Louis Bellina, would like to invite you to hang out with me and my friends weekdays from 11 to 2 right here on The Zone. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop. Friends like Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery, Billy Lucci, Olin Buchanan of the TexAgs universe, people like Joe Sheehan of the Joe Sheehan newsletter, Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness, and more. It's the Louis Bellina Show, presented by King Ranch Saddle Shop, weekdays 11 to 2 on The Zone.
Awesome. Super proud of the kids, how far they've come from, not just the beginning of the season, but, this time last year, we didn't have a coaching staff. A third of this team wasn't even Texas A&M Aggie yet. We were still recruiting out of the transfer portal, and you look up a year later, and you're playing, you're like you said, we're in the semifinal, we're in the Final Four of college baseball. So, great tribute to the kids. Obviously our coaching staff, administration, everybody committing to having a great program, and then everybody has really just given themselves up for the common good. And this team, whether we win or lose the rest of this thing, they're going to be remembered for a really long time. I think they brought a lot of excitement back to Texas A&M baseball. And
yes, sir. Jim Slofsnagel there after yesterday's game as we get closer to the game against Oklahoma. Another chance at the Sooners. Let's continue the dialogue with Ryan Broniger on the BCSI hotline. Bronny, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning, Nuno.
So yesterday, let's talk about yesterday, and then we'll look ahead to Oklahoma. Yesterday's performance from Nathan Detmer. One of the best pitching performances that we've seen in a very long time. Just kind of help us understand how good he was inside baseball.
Well, it might be the best pitching performance in Texas A&M history. Like I said the other day on the radio with you, David, every time you win a game, these moments get bigger and bigger in program history because now we're in uncharted territory. A&M has never done this, ever. So if somebody comes up with a clutch hit today or a clutch relief appearance or a clutch pitching outing or a clutch play on defense, those get, vaulted to the front of all-time Texas A&M plays, at-bats, pitches. So you have to look at Nathan Detmer's start yesterday and go, probably the best pitching performance in Texas Aggie baseball history. I'm not trying to disrespect or throw shade at some of the fantastic outings we've seen over the course of the last decade and even more. I know we got fans that go all the way back to that incredible 1989 team, but you're chasing a national championship here and you're closer than you've ever been. So that's the ultimate goal. And so you hope you have more moments and more pitching performances that go ahead of Nathan Detmer's. But for right now, it's got to be right there at the top, the best of all time. And one of the main reasons that he did it, David, was that he threw first pitch strikes to 21 of the 26 hitters he faced. You do that at 8-year-old ball, 18-year-old ball, college World Series, whatever. You're going to get guys out at a really high level. And Nathan Detmer was ahead of just about every hitter he faced yesterday. And then when you go and look at the stuff, the two-seam was as good as we've seen it since that start against Vanderbilt in Nashville, where he was practically unhittable. It had really, really late life to it. Boring in on right-handed hitters, you really liked the way that he was getting the contact, even as the foul balls that Notre Dame was hitting off of him were going the right direction for a sinker baller. Beating balls into the ground at Trevor Warner and Cole Kaler. He threw some really good same-side changeups. What that means is right-handed pitcher to a right-handed hitter, throwing changeups to the same side of the plate. Those are really tough. And then he had the breaking ball working. And what the breaking ball does with a guy that sinks the ball as much as Nathan Detmer is, it doesn't allow you to start kind of getting pull happy on the slider, start cheating to the pull side on the two-seam to try to get underneath it and lift it to the pull side. Because when you've got the breaking ball going, it's going the opposite direction. So it keeps the hitters on their toes. They can't eliminate pitches. It was just disgusting. I mean, it was some of the pitches he was throwing, some of the two-seams he threw, Troy Claunch couldn't even catch them because they were running so much. So if one of the best catchers in college baseball can't catch it, how do you expect guys with a metal bat in their hand to hit it?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Ryan Browninger on the BCSI hotline. Also, I think something lost in yesterday's performance, beyond how great it was, the fact that he was able to go 7 strong and save the bullpen, especially knowing what is ahead today.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little distracted. I've got a shirtless Richard Zane right in front of me, so
sorry.
You'll have to excuse me for, what was your question again, David?
Just the fact that he was able to go 7 strong and save the bullpen for what will be an all-hands-on-deck performance today.
Yeah, enormous. But that's kind of another layer to what he did, right? Like, you handed the ball to Moog, Brad Rudis, who only threw, I think, 15 pitches. He wasn't sharp, and then Moog comes in and does his deal. So, you're going in to this game with Oklahoma today probably with everybody available out except for Detmer, Dallas, and Menifee. But I think all hands are on deck to win this one today. And, then if you do that, then you got to have all hands on deck to win one tomorrow. But just for today, it's the same mentality, man, like we've been talking about so much with this club. It's like, you just figure out today. And if you can win today, then you figure out tomorrow when you get there. But we're really at that time of the year right now. So, Detmer being able to eat up all those innings and save some bullets for today is huge.
Hey, I only want to talk about the umpiring yesterday because it ended up in a victory. But, like, the Troy Clown strikeout, I know that you tweeted about it. That was such a ball. Moments like that, though, can cost you an inning, which can cost you a game. Just talk about what you saw at that strike zone that was so off.
It changed the ball, the strike 3 call on Claunch, which was in the other batter's box. It was up out of the strike zone, but it was also in the other batter's box. Like, it wasn't even close to being on the plate. And that's what I don't get with umpires. Is like, how you have a marker on the ground to help you judge east and west, like side-to-side strikes. That's what home plate's for. It's 17 inches wide. That's all you get. Up and down changes with the height of every hitter, but you don't get to go east and west that much. Like, you got 17 inches, the ball's got to catch it. The ball's in the other batter's box. And I said in our post-game reaction last night, I said, if guys like Jack Moss and Troy Claunch and Dylan Rock, if they don't swing at a 2-strike pitch, it's probably a ball. Like, I trust those guys more than I do those umpires. So here's what it did yesterday. It got Notre Dame starter Liam Simon off the hook and gave him extra life. Because if that pitch would have been called a ball like it should have been, that's bases loaded, no out, and they're going to the Jack Finley out of the bullpen a whole inning earlier than they actually did. That could have been an enormous call in that game in the second inning. This A&M team, they keep grinding, they keep finding ways to do it, against all odds seemingly. But yeah, I thought the strike zone yesterday was as bad as we've seen it throughout for any game of the College World Series. I mean, it's funny too, David, because Creighton Analytics, they've got all their cameras set up here at Charles Schwab Field, so they were tweeting like big pitches and big moments in the game and the TrackMan data and all that stuff, and then after a couple of strikes were the strike graphics, the TrackMan graphics were put up on their Twitter feed. I guess the NCAA asked them to take it down because they were highlighting some pitches that were called strikes that were clearly balls. I think Tim Elko of Ole Miss had one called against him that was literally like 8 or 9 inches off the plate. So I don't understand like why we can't hold people accountable. We understand it's an imperfect deal. Like I think there's nobody that goes into games expecting umpires to be perfect, but we do ask them to be held accountable, especially when they're potentially making calls that are altering program history. Like Ole Miss is chasing the same thing A&M's chasing. Like first national title in school history, and I believe Arkansas is doing the same. Like these are big pitches in the histories of these programs. Like you need to be held accountable for some of this stuff.
No doubt. No doubt. So one of the things that we talked about yesterday before the game was we figured we'd see A&M go against Jack Finley and getting him in the game early. Well, they did get to him early, and they had success against him, a guy who had really neutralized everybody he had played against. To me, that's another huge storyline in yesterday's game, Bronny.
Yeah, and who knows? Jack Finley's a freshman, and he's going to pitch for a long, long time in the game of baseball. But who knows? He may have been getting to the end of this year. This is probably the most baseball he's ever played, and I'm pretty safe saying that. I think that freshmen, when they get to this point in the year, like they can hit a little bit of a lull because this is by far the most baseball they played, and he's pitched in enormous moments, and that can wear on your mind and your body. So maybe he wasn't as sharp as he had been, or more notably, it's probably because just how good the A&M hitters are, and just how good this lineup is at not only just grinding out at bats, but able to process information. And when you listen to like what Trevor Werner said about the home run he hit, he's like, man, it was really the same pitch that I'd gotten earlier in the at bat, and I just felt like, I saw it once and I saw it well. It was a strike, but I was picking it up well and I was seeing the ball well, and he threw almost an identical pitch, and I had processed what I had seen earlier, and I was able to get a good swing on it. So their ability to adjust pitch to pitch, their within an at bat, the ability to I've seen the breaking ball in an 0-0. I know what it looks like. I've taken a mental picture of it. If it comes back, I know what it looks like, and I can adjust to it. I think Dylan Rock is the best on the team at that. It kind of sets up pitchers. So, but this all happening under the tutelage of Michael Early, and we talked about kind of his influence on the team yesterday, and just these hitters and how much all of them have improved. And so, yeah, it may have been Jack Finley wearing down a little bit, but it was probably more just how good this A&M lineup is.
Bronny, it's a 3-hour radio show, so we look at some of the positives. If there were any negatives, I guess we could say the 8 men stranded and some of the base running miscues that we've seen from time to time. Again, they win 5-1. It was a game that I never felt in doubt, even though it got a little scary there towards the end with Brad Rudis. But leaving 8 men stranded and some of the miscues, just your thoughts on what you saw there.
Yeah, you're not always going to drive everybody in, right? And the left on base deal, we saw it kind of be an issue early in the year for A&M, and then they erased it. And so it's a game-to-game thing. Some days you're going to get the big game. Some days you're not. What you love about this team is that they win in so many different ways. Yeah, they made base running mistakes yesterday. Didn't hurt them. They won the game. Yeah, they made a couple of base running mistakes and kicked the ball around a little bit against Texas. Didn't hurt them. So it's weird, man. Like you break down the negatives with this club, and it's like maybe something different every game, but they continue to just win. They're winning baseball players. They're a winning baseball team coached by a winning baseball coach. And, I love what Jim Schlossnagle said about, what Bose did yesterday on the bases. After that Claunch strikeout in the second inning, A&M was trying to go double steal based off everything they'd seen on video that Liam Simon was not going to go to an inside move there. He hadn't done it all year in any of his outings, and he picked a good time to do it. And A&M got right. Like they're taking a risk there, and Notre Dame caught them, and that's just the baseball play, and it happens sometimes. What happened with the tag up was just Austin Bose running with his head down, and I think you saw the cam in the dugout where Jim Schlossnagle was getting on him about it. Like you can't do that. And he had a base running mistake against Texas where he man on second. He was a runner at second. The ground ball was in front of him. He tried to go to third, and Trey Faltini, the Texas shortstop, threw him out at third. And those are just base running mistakes, and Austin knows better than that. I tell you what, it's not like, Austin Boast is getting caught on base because he's on base a lot right now, and he's been one of the hottest hitters for this club all year, and he's continued that here in Omaha. So if he's going to keep hitting doubles and coming up with big swings, I think you live with a little bit of the base running mistakes there.
A moment on Oklahoma, Bronny. They weren't always this team, right? They got hot at the end of the season, and this is who they are now. What is it going to take to make this another game against Oklahoma? How do we take them to a decisive game tomorrow?
Well, I mean, you're going to have to keep them from scoring runs. So they scored 13 off of you in the first game, and then they scored 7 against Notre Dame in the second game. So they're averaging 10 runs a game since they've been in Omaha, and they're just a dynamic offense, man. And it certainly doesn't help when A&M puts them on base as many times as they did in the opener. So, you're going to have I would bet Ryan Prager gets the ball today. I would bet that, they're going to be left-handed out of the bullpen, just listening to what Schloss said yesterday in the postgame press conference. So you got to fill up the strike zone. You got to make them move the baseball. You can't put them on base. They're too good. They're too deep of an offense. If you can keep John Spikerman and Peyton Graham, the 1 and 2 in their order, off base, I think that sets you up, but that's a lot easier said than done. Spikerman, he played for 12 all of his life as a Montgomery Lake Creek kid, and one of the best home-to-first times we've ever had in our baseball academy's history. Just an electric base runner, a really dynamite player. And then Peyton Graham is a Waxahachie kid, and he's got 20 home runs and hitting, I think, 330 or 340. So, keeping those guys off base, it's a lot easier to say that than it is to actually do it. But I think that's where they get their offense going, is with those two guys at the top. And then, they look for guys like Tanner Treadaway, who's been just absolutely out of his mind hot in the postseason, and Jimmy Crooks, their catcher. Those are their RBI guys that have been coming up really clutch for them. So if you can get Treadaway and Crooks up to the dish without guys on, that'd be ideal. It's just really hard to do. It's such a good offense, man. Oklahoma is white hot right now, and A&M is too. So these are two of the Final Four teams in college baseball, man. Anything that's going to happen from here on out, nothing's going to be easy. It's going to take more and more heroic efforts. And if A&M gets to a point where they're playing for a national championship and a championship series, David, then all that stuff I said about Nathan Detmer and, we talked about the Trevor Warner at bat against Texas being the biggest at bat in A&M history. Those will get passed up, right? It feels like if A&M is going to do kind of the unthinkable and make the national championship series, then there's going to have to be some things happen today and tomorrow where you go, okay, that is the biggest at bat in Texas A&M baseball history, or that is the biggest pitching performance in Texas A&M baseball history. It feels like something like that's going to have to happen for A&M to get to the final.
Appreciate you, Bronny. Great work as always. Hopefully we get more from you here tomorrow, and obviously the post-game wrap as well. Thanks, man.
De nada, papi chulo. De nada.
Nos vemos, okay? Un abrazo. Fuerte. Oh, I just cut him off as he was laughing. All right, it's TexAgs Radio. When we come back, Adam Rittenberg on the other side of the break. It's TexAgs.
Well, here we are, face to face. A couple of silver spoons.
Damn, you guys are good.
Nuno and OB on the Go Hour. During TexAgs Radio. Mornings at 8 on The Zone.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Hopewell Classical Day School, Kinder Music, Happy Camper School, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career that I could be proud of.
At DAV, we're on a mission, helping veterans of all generations get the benefits they've earned.
I'm Cece. My victory was finishing my education.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Everything in life has rules, and The Zone has prize rules for all contesting. You can check them out at zone1150.com. You may know you can win once every 30 days. There can only be one winner per household per month. You have 30 days to pick up your prizes. You have to be 18 or older to win. You have to present a legal ID to claim your prize. All prizes are non-transferable and not for resale. To make sure you do know all the rules, or if you have any questions about the prize rules, make sure to visit zone1150.com.
Zone1150.com.
All right, we've done a lot of baseball this morning. Do want to get to a little football. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Our next guest is Adam Rittenberg of ESPN. He recently wrote an article on what good programs are doing to elevate their status and their rankings out there, and A&M was obviously in the mix of that one. He also has his latest future power rankings breakdown, A&M coming in at number 4. We go to the BCSI hotline. Adam Rittenberg, good morning, man.
Hey, good morning, David. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks so much for joining us. So A&M obviously has been in the news quite a bit this offseason for good reason. What have they done, though, to elevate their status? Big picture. I know you spoke with Ross Bjork and others. What are they doing to change the way they're perceived and also the success that they're having?
Right. Well, of the 4 programs I wrote about in that piece, Texas A&M is unique because they're not a school that's having to find resources. They have always had great resources. They've always had a strong donor base. They've made upgrades in their facilities. Obviously, redid Kyle Field basically from scratch. And so it's more about creating the right types of investments. And as Ross Bjork talked to me about, getting everybody in the same page. One word that's thrown around a lot. I think culture is probably the biggest buzzword in college football, but alignment might be a close second. I think that's what A&M is trying to create there. And that Ross is trying to create as the athletic director, with the administration, with the 12-man foundation, obviously with the coaching staff and everybody that impacts that team. Because I wrote this piece sort of in the realm of who's the next Clemson. Clemson's the one program that in the last 10 years at least was something and became something else. And that's very hard to do in this sport. Clemson was a top 20 program throughout the 2000s and the 90s, never got in the top 10. And now they're a team that we expect to be in the top 5 every year. That's what A&M is trying to generate. They've obviously taken a step forward under Jimbo Fisher, but the next step, to truly be a tier 1 program is probably the hardest and something that's eluded Texas A&M despite those resources and those natural advantages, being in College Station, being in a great area for recruiting. And so, that's the challenge there. It's not as though they have to go find the donors. It's not like they have to go find the money. It's figuring out how to get everybody on the same page and then areas of the program to invest in to get it the next step. And then ultimately, you hire Jimbo Fisher and you pay him what they paid him to win a national championship. It's very simple. It's how we'll judge his tenure ultimately.
It's a result business, and I get that, right? But for some reason, I feel like people are really holding what happened last season against A&M in the big picture when it comes to Jimbo Fisher. They use the Kevin Sumlin record comparison. But at least from an insider's perspective, there was a lot of reasons for last year. Quarterback play was not good. They used their backup quarterback who was not ready to roll. When other programs are put in that position, they probably also lose as well. There's only one Alabama and one Georgia right now. Just why do you think they hold last season so much against them? Because it's the most recent?
Well, and it's not year one. I mean, let's face it. It's not like he's a first-year coach. It's not like Jimbo Fisher hasn't dealt with challenging quarterback situations. It's a big reason why A&M hired him is because he's regarded as one of the nation's elite quarterback coaches and offensive minds. And so, their inability to really build off of the Alabama win, that was the one positive. And I still think that's something that they can take going forward. The players and coaches that were around the program can reference, hey, we beat Alabama. This wouldn't be the first time we did it when they go into Tuscaloosa this year or in future seasons when they play the Tide. That's important. But there were a lot of disappointing performances. I saw A&M in person at Ole Miss, and not a very good offense, not a very competitive offense in that game. And so that's where I just think going forward, there's going to be a lot more urgency because, like I said, I think with the beauty of Jimbo Fisher's hiring and courtship with A&M is that there's no gray area here, David. He has to win a national championship. If he can't do it with these resources and the administration they have, Ross Bjork and everybody else, the strength of the SEC, you got to wonder if anyone can. And so that's why going forward, and I know we'll talk about the future power rankings, it's why A&M is where I have them. If they don't make the playoff this year, next year, or 2024, we have to start talking about this being disappointing instead of, they had some injuries and this didn't go right. Well, it doesn't matter. Jimbo Fisher's hired to fix that. Jimbo Fisher's hired to win championships. And, while you can have a season like last year, you can't have multiple seasons. Now's the time to move closer to where they certainly were in 2020, which is on the cusp of a championship.
Adam, one of the things you put in your piece, part of the attraction to A&M for recruits and these high-profile coaches is the facilities, but beyond what we normally see, beyond Kyle Field. We're talking about the nutrition center, the teaching areas. I mean, there's a lot of other areas that A&M has taken those facilities to another level.
Right, and that's something that Ross talked to me about. I think they want to make things as enjoyable as possible, the experience for the athlete. And he said, obviously there's a lot being said about NIL, and NIL is a huge component of things now, but athletes still want to be coached in the mind of Ross Bjork and Jimbo Fisher, and they want to have an experience that's going to serve them the best way possible. And so being able to have everything consolidated for the football players, their academics, their nutrition, not having to go far distances to get from practice to whatever other events they have in their very busy schedules, that those things matter. And that's what they're trying to create with some of the changes going forward. They've done some of the big stuff there in terms of, weight room, Kyle Field, coaches' offices. And now it's just, figuring out how do we make the experience even better, more attractive for recruits, in addition to everything else that they offer, being in the SEC, trying to compete for championships. NIL has obviously been a big success so far at Texas A&M. And so, those little things, it sounds little on the outside, but they do matter, potentially on the inside. And again, you're competing in a league where everybody has some level of resources, and there's more than one program that can compete, and now we've seen has won a national championship. I think if Texas A&M were in the ACC or the Big 12, maybe even the Big 10, they'd have an easier path to a national championship. But they're in the division with Alabama, who will be in that mix every year. LSU has shown the potential to win national championships when things line up. Georgia just won its first national championship. Florida has that capability. Auburn has that capability. So that's why you have to keep pushing forward and finding these ways to improve your program.
Adam, let's talk about the future power rankings that you put together. A&M coming at number 4. I think they were 6 last year. First off, how do you kind of come up with your guidelines for this?
Right. So this is a 4-part series, and it looks at the next 3 seasons. Always important to point that out. It's not a 1-year projection; it's a 3-year projection. So it's a mix of current personnel and recruiting, and other factors, coaching stability, just what we've seen in the transfer portal, NIL, but really looking out through 2024, which teams have the best chance to achieve at a high level. And so there's a quarterback rundown, an offense one, a defense one, and then a team one. And I just think A&M, given their recruiting success in the 2022 cycle, I think they have options at quarterback. They have a potential to be a better offense beginning this fall, but certainly in 2023 and 2024. That's why they're in that top 4. That's why they're ahead of a program like Clemson that's won multiple national championships, or Oklahoma that's won more conference championships than A&M has. That drought's still going on. Notre Dame is a team that is on that cusp and has made the college football playoff. So again, I could be wrong, and if I am, A&M won't make the playoff, and we'll be sitting here talking about why can't they get over the hump. But I think everything is lining up given the coaching situation, the current roster, the future roster, with how they've recruited to get to that next level. And I think you probably agree with me. If A&M doesn't make the playoff by 2024, we're talking about a massive disappointment in College Station.
So there's so much talk about next season being the season. That's where you have a quarterback who's been in the system for 2 years, and potentially the young freshmen on the defensive line have grown into who they're going to be. But for this season, is anything below 10 wins a disappointment? Is 10 wins considered a disappointment, or you think that's the mark?
I think that's the mark. I was on with Paul Feinbaum. He asked me kind of yesterday the same thing. Why not this season? And it may work out this season for A&M. They certainly have to sort out quarterback. Some of the other positions on offense being more explosive. How's their offensive line going to shape up this season? That's a question for me. And then defensively, how quickly do some of these freshmen integrate into the 2 deep and really contribute? Because that can be a game changer for what A&M wants to do on defense. A unit that has been really good at times under previous coordinator Mike Elko. So I think this year 10 wins absolutely it should be the expectation. And again, I look at Alabama, and certainly they project as a top 1 or 2 team depending on how you have your poll. But I think they have some questions at wide receiver. I think they have some questions at offensive line, which was a bit of a shaky unit at times last year. Defensively, I think they have the best defensive player in the country, but there are some potential holes there in the secondary. So I don't know if anybody is unbeatable in the SEC West, but it's going to be very competitive. A&M is going to have to bring it every week. They're going to have to be a little more fortunate on the injury front than they were last year. But I think we're at a point now that A&M should expect 10 wins or more every year, and not getting to that point, another 8-win season would not be received well in College Station.
Yeah, I agree with that. They are at that point, and we felt that last season it was going to happen. Let's move on to Miami, a team that they're going to play this year that I know you wrote about as they are elevating their program. Financially, they've got it. Obviously John Ruiz is in the news for the NIL stuff that's going on. What has changed for Miami here over the last 12 months other than the coaching change?
Well, I think for Miami, again, they were the program of those 4 that has won a somewhat recent national championship, has been a dominant program that we can remember, but they had not invested. They had not committed to football the way they needed to. I think there's certain programs, UCLA is kind of another one, that are located in these great spots that I feel kind of get lazy with facilities. You could even say Florida until recently got a little bit lazy after its success under Urban Meyer and didn't re-up the investments. And I think Miami, Kirk Herbstreit called them out, and they believed that they needed to make a major investment to improve. Went all in on Mario Cristobal, went all in on athletic director Dan Radakovich, and now they've got big plans hired a big time coaching staff. They've made some pledges for facilities that were, in my view, long overdue. You mentioned the NIL program. They're always going to have the location advantage. I think the ACC is a big advantage for Miami in terms of path to the playoff. And, if they're a team that we're not talking about, being in the playoff mix in the next 3 seasons, I think that's going to be disappointing. Mario Cristobal has extremely high standards. He as far as head coach recruiters go, there are very few, if any, that work like Mario Cristobal does in that realm. So you're going to see Miami most likely in that top 5, in that top 10 for recruiting. They've had some success in the transfer portal, even under previous head coach Manny Diaz. And looking at their team this year, I think they've got a terrific quarterback in Tyler Van Dyke, who was ACC Rookie of the Year last year, even though he didn't start the whole season, didn't begin the season as the starter. They have some interesting pieces around him offensively. I think Mario Cristobal, his background on the offensive line, will improve a unit that has dragged them down really for the last 5 or 10 years. And then defensively, what is the impact that Kevin Steele and Charlie Strong have on a unit that I wasn't overly impressed with last year? And so it's a very interesting time for Miami, but they absolutely have that potential to take a step. And it's one of the reasons I'm so excited that A&M and Miami are going to be playing the next couple of years, because both programs are in this similar position of trying to get to tier 1. And that's a very, very difficult thing to do, but they've both invested money in coaches and staff and facilities to try to make that jump.
Let's do one more. Oklahoma State. From what I read, it seems like they're all in on the Big 12. They want to be the face of the Big 12.
No doubt. Yeah, I talked with Mike Gundy about this in January, and if you recall, after they had that historic comeback to beat Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl, he had that line on the podium, saying, "Hey, we have a logo too." And what he meant by that is they've been really consistent, top 15, sometimes top 10, but certainly almost every year an 8, 9, 10 win program. And he believes they don't get noticed enough. They don't get kind of reflexively ranked in the preseason polls, and they don't get discussed as much as we talk about even programs like Texas that haven't achieved nearly the level of success that Oklahoma State has in the Big 12 the last 10, 15 years. And so they believe the time is now to tell their story more, to engage their donors. They had back about 15 years ago the single largest gift ever for an athletic program from T. Boone Pickens to Oklahoma State, his alma mater. They obviously built the stadium or redid the stadium, named it after him. They have great practice facilities, but as their athletic director, Chad Weiberg, told me, now is the time to re-up in some of those areas and invest in Mike Gundy's staff, and bring in a guy like Derek Mason as the defensive coordinator after losing Jim Knowles to Ohio State. And so, going forward, looking at the Big 12, they are the program that has had the most consistent success in that conference when Texas and Oklahoma leave. And even though they've only won one conference championship, that's the next step for Mike Gundy. They've got to start winning the Big 12. They were a yard away from doing that last year, but they believe that they'll be positioned well to compete for Big 12 championships, certainly in the future once that league fully reshapes.
Adam Rittenberg on the BCSI hotline. Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate your work on ESPN and coming on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. There he is, Adam Rittenberg on the BCSI hotline right now, Camp Milliken time. If you're looking for your kids to stay busy, you can do it at Camp Milliken. They're doing this all through this month, guys. You need to jump on it. In fact, through July 29th, they have these camps going on. Certainly want to learn about it. Go to their website. I'll tell you more about that as we go. But Camp Milliken has got your fishing, canoeing, horseback riding, wildlife interactions, a summer camp that provides campers with an awesome experience outdoors. So they don't have to play on their video games or be in the air conditioning all day and getting out of shape all summer long. This allows them to connect with nature, connect with people their age, and have a great time. It's for kids 4 to 14. It promotes a healthy discovery and outdoors adventure. It is in College Station on the south side there at Milliken Reserve, an outdoor summer experience that provides a fun-rich aimed at strengthening a child's sense of well-being and cultivating a bond there with nature. Camp Milliken is in full swing and will run through July 29th. Only a few spots remain for the upcoming session, so hurry to register your camper today. Visit millikenreserve.com/camp-milliken to learn more.
I'm Sarah Hook with your community calendar on the Zone. It's time again for the Elizabeth Lutheran July 3rd celebration in Caldwell. Festivities start at 6. Fireworks go off around 9:30. Visit elizabeth-lutheran.org for more information. BCS Habitat for Humanity is hosting its annual Bolt Build tournament on Friday, July 15th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Grand Station Entertainment. Space is limited, so go to habitatbcs.org/events/bolt-build to learn more and sign up your team today. Texas A&M is hosting an International Collegiate Robotics Competition at the Memorial Student Center June 25th through the 27th. For more information, go online to TAMURobomasters.com. Every Thursday night when the Brazos Valley Bombers are at home, it's Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by The Zone. $1 beer, soda, or water. It's Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by The Zone. That's your community calendar. I'm Sarah Hook on The Zone.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average oak tree branch can hold 70 pounds. Something you probably do know, your neighbor is building their kid a treehouse. Something you probably don't know, a falling treehouse would take out your whole fence. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Since 1957, Slovacic Sausage in Snook has been making the best-tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovacic is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovacic. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovacic Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Please join us July 4th for Texas A&M System Fireworks and Drone Show at the Rellis campus. Parking lots open at 6:30 p.m. and the show starts at 9 p.m. WTAW will broadcast patriotic music synced to the fireworks.
And howdy, I'm Tom Turbyville. And starting on July the 4th, tune in throughout the day as we celebrate a century of WTAW. It's WTAW, the first 100 years.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
What's better, 0 degrees or 100 degrees?
You don't see anybody leaving California, Florida, Arizona, Texas to run to Canada.
I'm retiring to the North Pole next year.
They don't do that.
No.
No one leaves those places, especially in the winter.
It's getting a little hot here in New Mexico. I'm going to go up to Antarctica.
Spend your mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor. Mornings from 5 to 8 here on The Zone.
It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate the text messages on the A&B text line, and of course, our guest on the BCSI hotline. Apparently, a couple of guys got blocked from our YouTube chat. It's all right, guys. We don't have to block them. Unless they were saying something really, really bad. But I love the algorithm jump. Let's go back to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa Peterson got a couple of us for us.
I do, and I have some football-related texts I want to get into. But first, since we had Bronny on, I wish I could have read it before, but he tweeted last night, feels like a good time to remind everyone that A&M should have been in the college football playoffs over Notre Dame in 2020. Couldn't agree more.
100%.
And then another football-related text from Spencer in Denver. He says, Jimbo should be questioned. He didn't plan for Haynes going down, and the backup QB only beat Bama. So if he had done a really good job, Fisher would have gone undefeated. These non-Aggie perspectives and measures of what ring-bearing Aggie should like or accept or be okay with need to be seen for what they are. Jealous, and it breeds fear. Just ask Nick.
Let me respond to that. I think it can be both, right? Like, we've reached the point where no excuses, just go win 10, 11 games moving forward. But I agree with you. If Haynes doesn't go down, I don't know if they go undefeated, but they come really close. I do think that. But, it's a results business, and you got to get it done. When we come back, a little recruiting with Jason Howell. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
Replacement windows, like other major purchase items, will at some time in the future need service, whether warranty or not. If you purchase your replacement windows from Intercon, you'll just phone our local number and we will take care of your issue in a prompt and professional way. Every one of Intercon's personnel who answer the phone will know how to involve the right people to find a solution. With Intercon, you won't spend hours manipulating through an automated phone tree. If you consider purchasing your replacement windows from another window source, a good exercise would be to call the service department of the other company. You might come away thinking it'd be better to put your trust in a local company with a solid and well-established reputation. Ask your friends and colleagues about the customer experience they had with Intercon. We are proud of our track record and our commitment to long-term customer service. Trust Intercon, a family-owned local business, with all of your window needs.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Love Aggie football?
Sure.
Star Wars? Pork chops? Or whiskey with a friend? Listen to Louie. Weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone, 1150 AM. And 93.7 FM. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, this is News on the Zone. Employees in College Station ISD will receive a pay raise of at least 2% during the next school year. CSISD board members passed a resolution last night that also includes an additional raise if voters in November approve decreasing next year's property tax rate by 3 cents instead of 6 cents. Board member Joshua Ben said it'll be up to the community to promote the proposal.
Board members and so forth are legally limited into the amount of advocacy that we can do. And so everybody who's here tonight, if you get out and not only vote for it, but also support it. And I probably should shut up there because I'm probably advocating.
If voters approve, additional local and state money will give another 4% increase for CSISD teachers and non-administrative employees and 2% more for administrators. Monday night, Bryan ISD board members unanimously approved pay raises where teachers, counselors, and librarians move up on the salary schedule, plus another $1,500 plus retention bonuses. College Station police report the southbound lanes of Highway 6 were closed Monday for more than 6 hours from 2 crashes. The first was a semi that blew a tire, struck a concrete barrier, and also leaked diesel fuel. Then a truck pulling an empty horse trailer hit a piece of TxDOT equipment that spokesman Bob Colwell says was placed to protect their employees who are taking care of the diesel spill.
A truck-mounted attenuator that acts as a crash cushion. It prevents truck from going into our work zone.
CSPD and TxDOT report no one was injured. A Houston woman's out of the Brazos County Jail on her promise to return for future court appearances on a charge of causing a hit-and-run crash that injured the driver of a scooter. 21-year-old Melissa Escareno was arrested almost 3 months after the March 29th collision at Walton and Foster, a block east of Texas. According to College Station Police arrest report, a witness saw the scooter driver fly off and strike his head on a construction sign.